you know, this is going on. Why are we putting up with it?
And by the way, no amount of surveillance does anything because the evil people run it. This little girl, Alexandria Hill, and I'm showing a photo of her that makes me want to cry because I have 2 daughters. She would come to, they took the daughter because they found out one of the parents smoked marijuana. She would come beat up, bruised, starving to visitations, mildew all over her, and then they bashed her brains out. And the Texas Youth Commission is probably one of the most demonic in the country, and Williamson County is a feeder for it. Williamson County is a satanic group of people. And I want to just warn everybody, folks, do not go to Williamson County. Do not enter it. Do not take your children through it, okay? And I don't mean to digress. I just look at this story and this photo. They knew she was being abused in the government camp. They knew she was being abused by the devil worshippers that run this country. They knew she was being hurt and wouldn't help her. So the surveillance is there to make sure good people can't ever bring them to justice.
Death of a 2-year-old girl in what police describe as a horrific case of child abuse. I'm Tyler C. Swarta.
And I'm Terry Gruca. The Nightbeat's Chris Betts spoke tonight with the victim's father. Chris, it's her foster mother facing charges.
That's right, Terry, and we do want to give fair warning. Some of the images in this story may be difficult to see.
Well, listen, here's an example of this family. Father of a foster child who died speaks to KVUE. Neighbors, they're not sure. Somebody smelled pot late at night. Their daughter's asleep. They smoked some pot watching a movie, you know, good, hard-working parents. And they came and took the kid, and a month later, she was dead.
A woman trusted with taking care of a 2-year-old is charged with murder tonight after that child was rushed to a hospital in a helicopter on Monday and taken off life support late last night. This evening, I spoke with the child's father about his last moments with his little girl.
B. C.
He never thought his visit with her Thursday would be his last.
We got to sit down at McDonald's and have lunch and play for a while. She got a little Despicable Me 2 toy in her Happy Meal, and she loved it. And she kept climbing up in my lap, and she fed me French fries, and it's a lot of fun.
And he describes going to see her once a week at McDonald's for an hour where he was allowed to see her, bruised up, beat up, mildew all over, and they just laughed at him, and then they, then they beat her brains out. That's what they do. And I mean, they're not going to, I mean, it's so demonic. The government is so filthy and degenerate, and all the police who are part of this, and all the CPS workers, you're all going to hell. I'm telling you, there is a God. God hates you. I certainly hate you, and you will be brought to justice. This is a sick, filthy, degenerate system, and it's the spy system. It's the tattletale crews. What type of people would say they smelled pot, so then the CPS comes, and then why do you even let them in, folks? The government's not your friend. That's what I'm telling everybody. It's evil. It's evil. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
On Monday night, Joshua Hill's daughter, Alexandria, or Alex, as they like to call her, was rushed to a hospital with severe head injuries and immediately placed on life support.
I can't even describe it.
Alex was living with foster parents after CPS removed her from her parents' home last November for neglectful supervision. Hill admits they were smoking pot when their daughter was asleep.
But it's Williamson County that took the tip that people were smoking pot when they had a kid that came and did that. You murdered the little girl. And I don't care how many excuses you got, you did it. You did it. All these victimless crimes, all these excuses to break up families by you so-called fake conservatives up there. I know Williamson County, it's on record, is a bunch of drug dealers. You are a mafia that feeds on people and puts innocent people in jail. You're famous for it. Excuse me, look at this photo of this dead kid. Just puts me into a rage. I can't look at it, man. I'm so sick of it. All the photos of the dead kids Al-Qaeda's killing in Syria. Huge piles of dead little kids.
We never hurt our daughter. She was never sick. She was never in the hospital. She never had any issues until she went into state care.
For 2 months, Alex was placed in a home that Hill says was dangerous.
She would come to visitation with bruises on her and mold and mildew in her bag. It got to a point where I actually told CPS that they would have to have me arrested because I wouldn't let her go back.
In January, CPS placed her with this woman, Cheryl Small.
In the end, it wasn't enough.
Hill got the call Monday night that his daughter was in a Temple hospital.
They wouldn't tell me what condition she was in or what was wrong or what had happened, anything. The only thing they would tell me is I needed to be there. And when I got there, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I found out that Alex was in a coma.
For 2 days, they held out hope she would regain consciousness. But on Wednesday night, Alex was taken off life support.
And Alex passed around 10:30 that night.
Detectives say Small's explanation didn't match Alex's injuries, and on Thursday, they charged the foster mother with murder. Hill says he was less than 4 months away from getting Alex back, and now he'll never get the chance. After police were called to Alex's foster home in Rockdale Monday, CPS removed another child in the home. Small was arrested today, and her bond is set at $100,000.
Just heartbreaking. Thanks, Chris. Officials with the Department of Family and Protective Services tell us it relies on private child placing agencies to perform background checks on all foster homes. The agency in this case is called Texas Mentor. State records show 15 total deficiencies for the Austin branch of Texas Mentor over the past 2 years. 4 of them were for failing to perform proper background checks on people who live in foster homes. But the state does not specify which homes were involved in those cases.
And they were trying to keep her up in the demonic Williamson County, but they do this everywhere, for marijuana, for recreational use of marijuana. And the judge that took that child and did it is just as guilty as the woman that they've now arrested and are charging with beating the girl's brains out. Go ahead and make your excuses. You people make me sick. Catherine Albrecht, I'm sorry I went off on a jag. I saw this article. I read about it. I watched the newscast during a break. And it physically made me beyond angry. Imagine you're a happy family living in Central Texas in a suburb of Austin, Round Rock. And one night you decide to smoke some marijuana after your 2-year-old daughter's gone to bed while you watch a movie. Something over 100 million Americans are estimated to do every single week. A good secret police neighbor smells the marijuana, calls the police, and they come with the CPS and take your 2-year-old happy daughter who'd never been in the hospital and never been sick and never been beaten up. You go for weekly visits with your daughter, and she's dirty. She's confused. She has black eyes, bruises. Mold is growing on her body and her clothing. You go to the state and say, she's being abused, help her. And they laugh at you. And a month later, you get the call. She's on life support. Her head has been caved in. 2 days later, they take her off life support, and she dies. Another victim of this tyrannical government that we have that is incentivizing the states to seize as many children as they can. Over 1 million of them a year. The Justice Department's own numbers show the horrific facts. The most dangerous place a child can be is in state custody. Little Alexandria Hill, or Alex as she was known, will never get to grow up and be part of the spelling bee at school or the swim team or softball. She'll never get to go to college and meet the man of her dreams and have her own children and grandchildren. She's dead. Another casualty of this sick society we have that has the largest prison population in the world. Every authoritarian state throughout history has been obsessed with attacking the family and seizing children from their parents. Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia, Maoist China. But they never did it on the scale that we see here in the United States. And every day I see cases in Texas alone where people's children are taken for the most petty of reasons and end up dead, raped, tortured, killed, their heads caved in. The children disappear routinely and end up overseas in snuff films and pornography. Our children are one of the favored commodities of the criminals that run our government. And the people that are in control of Williamson County, Texas, are famous for their abuse of the innocent and famous for their abuse of children that they've kidnapped from their parents. And I want to say something to the child predators in the police department in Williamson County and other areas in the United States. When we take America back, and we will, you will be tried for your crimes against humanity. You want to now charge one of the foster parents for supposedly caving this little girl's head in? You are just as guilty, knowing how hellish those facilities and those homes are where they warehouse kids for money. You know statistically there are more pedophiles and more abusers who literally torture those children within inches of their life, and that the state covers it up because it's part of a sick racket. And you need to know that it's all on your head, just like all the other cases in Williamson County where they've known people were innocent and known who killed people's wives and children and done nothing to prosecute the real criminals and gone after innocent people. You will be charged for that crime as well. And those charges are now forthcoming. And you will be brought to justice in Williamson County and everywhere else for the crimes you've committed. Your tyranny can go on for a long time, but sooner or later, God is going to cut you down. You shouldn't fear Alex Jones, and you shouldn't even fear the American people. You should fear God, because God is real, and God is the law. You will be held in judgment for what you've done. All of you, the judges, the police, you are all accomplices in aiding and abetting the torturous death of children in Williamson County and across the United States and places like North Korea, where they take families' children as well for collectivization into the state. For those of you who have only been passively involved in the industry that is the abuse of children at the hands of the state in this country, there's still time for you to admit the facts and go public and speak out against this evil and turn the tide. I will forgive you. The parents of the abused and dead children will forgive you. And most importantly, the creator of the universe will forgive you. And yes, even little Alexandria Hill, who is beyond your wicked grasp, will forgive you as well. Join humanity and let us stop the modern slave trade in children that is taking place in this country. And finally, all of you out there watching, there are children being kidnapped for the pettiest of reasons in your town and in your city. Become an advocate for those families. Volunteer to expose the incredible miscarriage of justice where a Stasi spy neighbor smells marijuana and a month and a half later a little girl's head is bashed in. Did that family deserve to have their daughter killed in state custody because they smoked pot? Is that really land of the free, home of the brave? Or is it really a system designed to capture non-violent, non-criminal people in a parasitic system? I'm Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com. The ball is in your court. The rest is up to you. The innocent children are crying out, not just here in the U.S., but worldwide, under state and corporate abuse. Those children are counting on you to research the facts we've laid out here today and to come to their aid. If you won't, who will?
Share this video with a friend.
I'll just quit 'cause I can't win. And now your shed is wearing thin.